Good morning, Scituate. It is 9:30 on August 17th. It's a Monday. Usually we are have quiet August, but this August has not been that way. So we have a quick town update. We're going to start off with, just to let people know, tomorrow night will be a Board of Selectmen meeting beginning at 6:30, and we'll be talking about next steps for the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. And we'll also be recognizing the anniversary, the 100th anniversary of the women's suffragette and the women's right to vote. So I personally think that that's extremely important date to remember. And given that we are now into a very complicated election season, we've invited our amazing town clerk, Kathy Gardner, who has a few words about how you can make sure your vote is counted. So I'll hand it over to Kathy.
Good morning, thank you. I just wanted to briefly review and discuss the state primary and voting by mail. The state primary will be held on, of course, September 1st. Poll hours are 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Situate High School Gym, located at 606 Chief Justice Cushing Way. We will practice social distancing, sterilize pens, and the voting booths. Staff will wear masks. We also have plexiglass screens, and voters are required to wear masks as well. Saturday, August 22nd, is the deadline to register to vote for the state primary, between 2 to 4 in person in my office and 6 to 8 p.m. Forms are available at both entrances at Town Hall. You can fill out and leave it in the mail slot in the front door or drop off your form at the handicap entrance. There will be a box available on that day. The same day, August 22nd, is the day that early voting starts. Here at Town Hall, the hours are Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to noon, for the 22nd and 23rd, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8:30 to 4:45 p.m., Tuesday, 8:30 to 6 p.m., and Friday, 8:30 a.m. to noon. August 26th, this is the last day by 5 p.m. that any voter can request in my office a ballot to be mailed to you. After that date, no ballots will be mailed, okay? Once voter receives their ballot, they vote the ballot in black or dark blue pen, ballpoint preferably. Place your voted ballot in the small envelope. It is required that the voters sign the small ballot envelope. Place this in the white mailing envelope, and you can return it to the town clerk's office by mail, which is postage paid, or drop it off at the clerk's office or in the slot in the front door of Town Hall. A voter may request, at their request, assign somebody to drop their ballot off for them. Checks and balances. Nobody receives a ballot from my office unless you've submitted a signed request. Nobody's ballot gets cast unless that small ballot envelope has been signed. All ballots will be cast, checked in, and cast on Election Day. There are a number of voters who voted, who are registered as unenrolled or no party, meaning that they do not belong to a political party. These voters need to let us know when you send back your form if you check off all elections, meaning the primary and the general election. You need to let us know what political party's ballot you would like us to mail you. If you don't provide a phone number, then you're only going to get a ballot for the general election, unless we hear from you sooner. We have a number of phone calls that we have made for these voters. Nobody's returned, very few have returned our calls. So we have them in a separate pile ready to go in for the general election in November if we don't hear from them. Once we receive your early voting ballot back and it has been checked in, you cannot come and vote in person on Election Day. If you are unenrolled and you choose a Democratic ballot, that's what you checked off on your card, or that's what you asked for when you checked in. You get in the booth and you see that you chose the wrong ballot. You cannot change your mind. That is not my rule. That is the state election law. The numerous calls to vote. Okay, so if the voter, again, let me remind you, if you have indicated on this first card that you got all elections, you will get a ballot in November. I have people calling and checking. We've put you in for all elections, you'll get a ballot. Those ballots for the general election in November will go out sometime the end of September, beginning of October. If you want to confirm that your ballot was received by my office, you can go online to trackmyballotma.com, okay? And I just want to remind people, I know there's a lot of things going on in the news right now, nationally and locally. The Scituate branch of the United States Postal Service has done an outstanding job of mailing and returning the ballots to my office. We have mailed out almost 4,000 ballots already. They're starting to come back. Every time we get an application for a ballot, we enter it in the state system, saying that you requested a ballot. Every time the ballot comes back, we go in the state system and we put the date we received it back. Additional information can be found on my page of the town website. The red banner at the top that says election information. All the attachments are there, the forms to request ballots, the sample ballots, how to register to vote. There is so much information. If you can't find it, please call my office. And that's it. I think we covered just about everything. Please don't listen to, don't pay attention to Facebook unless it's the Scituate page. If you have questions about your ballot or the election, it's very important that you get the right information. Please call my office. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Huge information that you just provided. Just a reminder, you can go to situatema.gov, click on Town Clerk, and there's a red banner, and that's where you'll find all of the detail of the information Kathy just presented. Thanks for that. Go register, go vote. I'd like to turn it over to Jim Boudreau. He's going to give us the town update.
A couple things real quick. I'll be brief. The first one, of course, is our weekly COVID update. Since last week, we have had no additional cases reported in the town of Situate. That's very good. The state rate of infection was 1.9% as of yesterday. That's up slightly during the week, but that's the daily count, so that's going to fluctuate, obviously, every day. The governor last week issued some revised guidelines for athletics. A quick read of those guidelines, I think, could be problematic for some sports this fall, youth sports and high school sports. One of the mandatory modifications for moderate and higher risk sports is to eliminate deliberate contact. Deliberate close contact must be eliminated. Deliberate close contact includes but not limited to collisions, body checking, tackling, blocking, and racing or riding in packs. Football, lacrosse, hockey, even soccer to some levels have collisions. I don't know how you play football without blocking and tackling. So I know the youth sports are looking at that closely. I know that the high school coaches are looking at that closely, but that could have some ramifications for sports this fall. The state's also rolled out a new COVID map. It's the daily rate case per 100,000. You can look at a visual representation as to how your community is doing. White is the best, is the lowest rate. Situate is currently a white community. This will be updated weekly. People should not get too concerned if the color changes because of the town our size. If a family of 4 all test positive on the same week, then we could go from white to yellow or red, which are the 2 highest. It doesn't really mean in a small town that you have a lot of contagion. It just means you had a week that your numbers spiked. And again, it could be 1 or 2 families that caused that spike. But we know Scituate, no cases in the past week. That's good. Masks are working. I think people are doing a good job social distancing, so we ask them to keep that up. The next item, of course, in Scituate this time of year and all around the South Shore is water. We are in the next phase of our water ban. We went into that on August 7th. Total ban on car washing, no filling of pools, no watering of lawns with irrigation systems or lawn sprinklers. Any watering of flowers, plants must be by hand can only between the hours of 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. We are out fining people. It's a $100 fine if you're caught watering illegally. The reservoir as of yesterday was 41.4% full. Yesterday at the treatment plant we received 0.17 inches of rain. That's not going to have any noticeable effect on the level in the reservoir. We have brought well 17A back online into the reservoir. That's about 350,000 gallons a day that will supplement the reservoir. That's a good thing. But we still need people to really, really do some more conservation. This past week we were at 1.82 million gallons a day. That was down slightly from the 1.878, and we just think that's because we had a cloudy weekend. So people weren't watering, which they're not supposed to be doing. So the guys are out there at 4 o'clock in the morning. They're going around. We ask you to please conserve water. All the towns around us are currently on some sort of water ban. All outdoor watering is banned in Norwell, Hingham, Hull, and Cohasset, just to name a few. So it's not unique to Scituate. We still have some high manganese levels in the reservoir we talked about before, caused by the stagnation of the reservoir. We did a pilot test on a chemical addition to our treatment plant to remove the manganese. Those test results have gone to DEP. Once DEP has reviewed and approved those, then we will start adding that chemical to the water, which will cause the manganese to come out before it goes into the system. We think that will have a very good effect on the discolored tea water that people are seeing right now, and that's caused by the high manganese coming out of the plant. The only other thing on water people will see, we'll be back at the Dolan well fields this week doing another test. out there, so people will see that. Hopefully that'll wrap up and we'll get those wells online in the foreseeable future. Finally, just Bailey's Causeway and Gilson Road, the culverts are in. The roads just have to be put together. They are on schedule and should be wrapped up this week.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate that update. The next small item on our agenda is an update from our school department. We have our new superintendent who has become quite a media sensation. Thank you for taking such leadership. And Janice Lindblom is, did I say that right?
Yes,
is here from the school committee. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Thank you, Karen.
Are you blushing?
Sutton here.
Just quickly, we have a school committee meeting tonight, 6 o'clock. The Zoom info can be found on the Situate Public School website if you have not received that through the email system. And that all on that same website is all COVID information related to the schools that is updated frequently. So with more updates, I'll turn it over to Bill.
Thank you, Ms. Lindblom. And welcome, everybody. Good morning. Just want to give an overview of our reopening plans for the Scituate Public Schools. And a little background. On August 6th, 2020, I presented our final draft plan to our school committee for initial review and discussion. The 63-page comprehensive plan was then shared with our school community and can be found on our webpage. Since the presentation, the school committee and I have received hundreds of correspondence and excellent feedback on the plan, so we want to thank our community. I want to thank also our teachers, our administrators who have been working hard to start to put a little meat on the bone of the plan and bring it to life. Our focus in developing the final plan is one that's best for Scituate. There's no perfect plan out there, but we believe we have one that's working very well for us. And the focus has been on transparency and inclusion. All questions asked at the school committee meetings, as well as emails to our email hotline, and members of our administrative team have discussed and revised many of the plan based on this feedback. The plan includes a frequently asked questions section that I think will be helpful for you, and that will be updated regularly. The final draft plan was presented to the school committee on Monday, August 10th, and was passed with a 4-to-1 vote. The vote emphasized that Scituate Public Schools will start school on September 16th in the orange hybrid model. Hybrid model is a mix of students coming back in school part-time and doing some remote work in combination. The plan was also sent to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education on time. There is still specific work to be done on the plan, and I am proud to report that our principals held parent, guardian, and caregiver and teacher forums this past week to begin the work and to address school-based questions specifically. Tonight at 6 o'clock, there will be a school committee meeting, and our principals will highlight some of the work happening in our schools, so we hope you can make that. We'd also like families to check their email inboxes as we've sent out our parent survey that will help us prepare for the start of school. The survey deadline is tomorrow at noon. And finally, Governor Baker last week released a health and safety metric that schools and communities can use as guidelines for when to reopen using a full-time in-person model, the hybrid model that I just discussed, or a fully remote model. And this metric will also support future decision-making if the impact of COVID-19 requires us to switch between educational models throughout the school year. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Superintendent. That wraps up what we wanted to cover today. Just a reminder again, Board of Selectmen will meet tomorrow in a regular format, and then I think we're going to experimenting with transitioning to a Zoom or other format to allow more folks to participate in a video format. So stay tuned for that. Any other comments from Mr. Bedreau? All right. Well, we will see you next Monday morning at 9:30.